After watching 1 week of the Diddy trials, I hope you guys can see the plot twist. That the people we've been celebrating, pedestalizing, holding up as stars, gods, are actually modern day slaves. Not the kind with rusty chains, not the kind with whips on their backs, but these modern day slaves, their chains don't rust. They shine, so we don't see the shadows. See, their scars, they're not on the outside. They wear them deep inside, as you can see. And they cover it up with designer. They're draped in diamonds, but they can't sleep at night. They're surrounded by fans who scream their names, but inside, they're screaming out for help. When I say slaves, don't get it twisted. These are powerful people, very talented, gifted, dreamers. They are gods, but that's the trap. That's how they get you. That very dream becomes the leash. Your talent, that becomes the tool, and your very gift becomes the gag. Imagine finally having your dreams come true. You finally make it. You get the applaud, the awards, you get the interviews. But every song you ever wrote feels like torture. Every award you receive only reminds you of the things you did to get the award. And every smile hides a secret because deep down you know what you had to do to get there. And you can't even trust it was your own talent that got you there because of what you had to do for the opportunities. These people didn't just sell their talents, yo. They sold their silence. They sold their truth, their manhood, their bodies. And others sold their morals. And the sickest part is the others was making them do it. And they was doing it for survival, fear, opportunity, whatever the case may be. But now you got the fans running up smiling, crying, grateful to meet their idol. But in that moment, that star wants to be them. Plot twist, yo. They have traded all to be anonymous, free, to have never walked into that room to begin with. To have never worn a leash made of platinum. So while the people looking at the star, right, longing for the day they can get signed, the star is regretting that day, wishing they could undo it. Imagine that. You want to be them, but they desperately want to be you. And all this is teaching us something very heavy, man. They don't just enslave people physically, not anymore. They enslave people through the most organic part of themselves, their gifts and their dreams, your soul. And if they can get you to sell your soul, man, they don't need a contract. All they need is that footage of acts that's so gross, so obscene, and so vile that you wouldn't believe it was real. And it's not just sexual, it's spiritual defilement. The kind of rituals that'll break your reflection, make you avoid a mirror, make you a prisoner in your own success. And see, when they own that footage, right, you don't get to say no. You don't get to grow a conscience. You don't get to heal. You got to perform. You got to smile. And you got to keep the illusion going. And if you don't, you vanish. Blackballed, mocked. Or as you can see, worse. We're witnessing the world flipped upside down, man. The veil is lifting. And what's being revealed is heartbreaking. These stars were never free. They were sold, bartered. They were recorded. And then they were worshiped by us while they were dying inside. Man, be careful who you idolize. Be careful who you envy. Because what you think is the dream may actually be the nightmare. What we think is freedom may actually be the price that you can never pay. So now what? We watched these movies they were in. We played their music. We wore their clothes. And we had no idea that we were funding their torment. So do we keep watching it? Do we keep streaming it? And do we keep pretending that the art and the artist are separate? When the art itself is forged in trauma. Do we keep saying, well, that's just how the industry works? When we are the ones that's keeping it alive. Because here's the truth, y'all. We have the power to shut all this down, but we don't. We compartmentalize, we rationalize, we humanize monsters, We demonize survivors and we call it entertainment, but it's actually sacrifice. And it's sad to see so many people victimized by their own dreams. It's sad to see monsters thrive in plain sight. And it's heartbreaking to watch a world pretend to care while they cling to the very things that cause harm. Through the eyes of a God, y'all, a real God, nobody could hide. You couldn't hide behind fame, behind somebody else's fear, not fake loyalty, behind false idols. We need to wake up, man. Because the dreams that when I was a child, you know, I longed for an opportunity to showcase my talent in rapping, dancing, acting, whatever it was I was doing. And now I'm glad. Now I feel protected that I never got the opportunity to begin with. I feel protected now. It's unreal, man. It's unreal. We need to stop watching that stuff and only invest in independent stuff. And it's crazy because this happens on every level and on both sides. Like I've seen a woman who couldn't afford studio time offer S favors to the producer to get the studio time. I've seen a woman who couldn't afford the studio time, and the producer asked her to trade S favors for studio time. And this is someone's talent we're talking about, somebody's gifts we're talking about. Behind that is hopes and dreams. And you should never do that. And it's crazy because, like I said, it happens on every level. And so normally when you see something like this, we easily can judge it and say it's wrong. But really, it's a manifestation of the collective. And that's the only reason these people are in such high regard. If you think about this, their music has been telling us the entire time. We've been praising the actual lyrics in their song that are very suggestive in nature to some of the things you're seeing at these parties. And we say it's dope. You know what I'm saying? I put something in her drink and she ain't even know it. I mean, I could go on. The list goes on. There's so many lyrics I'm sure you guys could put in the comments that you've heard yourself. So it's not like they say it's hidden in plain sight, but damn. I mean, it's not hidden if you ask me. You understand? And what you're looking at is worse than anything you've ever saw depicted in a Hollywood movie. This reality right now is worse than anything they've ever casted. We're clearly in a dream because we want this lifestyle. They perpetrated to be beautiful, filled with freedom and all this stuff, but we always hear them say everything that glitters is not gold, right? What would it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? These things become reigning true on a literal level. It brings a whole new meaning to you or understand it better by and by. As you get older, you start living life. Those things you heard growing up begin to make a lot of sense, man. And I grew up watching all of these celebrities. I saw it in real time. So a lot of you guys, if you 30s, younger 30s and stuff, you probably watching this from a different purview. But I lived in it. I watched these guys. I grew up with Tupac, Biggie, Mace, and Jadakiss, and Ox, and P. Diddy. And P. Diddy was just Puff Daddy. That don't age well at all because it's like Puff Daddy. There's this character named Piri Prisoner on One Punch Man, and he's funny acting, if you know what I mean, right? And there's a lot of characters on anime that's like this. And I can now see him the same way, Puff Daddy, like Puff, right? Like Powder Puff Girls. Puff Daddy, called himself Daddy, had everybody calling him Puff Daddy. And now it seems like he is a super villain. And what's crazy is what you learn in this world is heroes don't exist. There are no superheroes, but yet there are super villains. Nobody's going to come to your rescue. And when you're afraid to stand up for yourself, it's over. And right now, the closest thing to the superhero that we got is going by the name of Cassie. Because even though she was there for most of it, damn near a lot of it, she's one of the ones to speak up and be brave enough to speak up no matter what. And you gotta give credit to the whistleblower. At some point, even if you've done it too, you gotta give credit to the person who says no more and calls it out as being wrong, even if they go down too, whatever the case may be. However you want to look at it, her being a part of it or whatnot, this man is absolutely evil. You guys understand that. And again, as shocking as it is to hear all these names be mentioned inside of it, Go back and listen to their lyrics. Listen to the things that they say they would do. Listen to how they talk about women. Look how they talk about each other and how they'll end each other over a couple of dollars. And it's in their music, and we like that. We're the reason that they make money. And so when you find that they're doing it literally, it's what, a shock? Why do we entertain it if we don't think it's real? Why don't we entertain things that are more elevated, high vibrational, things that would get us somewhere, things that are more practical? But it seems that these movies, these music, these videos only glorify things that are actually very negative in our communities, in our social world. So we praise negative things, and the positive things we look down on. It's time we wake up and not just come away from, not just look at these actors and judge these people, but what they actually represent and the things they're saying. And we should have been turned a blind eye to these people and a deaf ear to these people and stop supporting these people, because the things they're saying is negative and negative reinforcement to our young people's minds. And they're going to grow up wanting this lifestyle. When you realize now that lifestyle itself, if they were to achieve it, would make them some of the biggest slaves walking this planet today. In modern times, do you even want that for your children? So why even have them around it? Think about this, y'all. Seriously. I holla.